Yo guys, what up? What up? Welcome back to another stream. Today we're going to talk about the truth about making thumbnails inside of Blender. I've worked on a thumbnail here the last couple of days for today's video that I'm going to be releasing later on tonight. And quickly, let me jump over here. Boom. So first thing first, guys, if you're new to here, I got the Blender Octane. I got a free Blender Octane School community. For those of you who are not ready to commit to something paid, this is my new free Blender Octane community. You guys can jump in here, and matter of fact, you can see here that this live stream is also going to be posted here. You can click on that, watch that. It will take you to the classroom, to the calendar. Also in the classroom, we do have the Blender 101 guide. This is the reason why I'm shifting away from Discord and bringing everything into here, because this is way more organized and way more community driven. So I've got the full 101 Octane guide here, constantly work in progress. So you guys can take a look at this, break it down. It's all free, right? It's all here. I've also got my free Blender startup kit, which is basically was on Gumroad. I brought it in here to the community so you can get it easily. Here is another guide on just the most important shaders, the metallic, the diffuse, the glossy, all right here. You guys can watch it. You can even tick it like, oh, I've already finished that video. Okay, I finished this video too. Easily can keep track of what you guys are doing. It's just way better than Discord. I'm sorry, way better. Video database. So here, some of our members from our paid community have cooked up this really cool video database. If you click on this thing here, and then it's got just Blender Octane. It's got Blender and Octane in general. You can just search through here. Excuse me. And I come through here all the time just to find out any other videos that I have not seen about Octane. You'll see a lot of my stuff because, I'm pretty much the only person consistently posting Octane stuff, right? I wish there were more, but hey, hopefully we'll get some more in the future. And then if you want to join my Blender Octane School community, the paid groups, we can get more access to me. You can get access to some of our really engaged members there. We got assets, all kinds of jibber jabber there. And then I got a couple of paid courses here for you guys if you guys are interested. Of course, these courses are free in the paid community. And then a quick little affiliate link thing if you guys are interested in some materials for Blender Octane. They have these materials from Pixel Lab. And I think they still have a free pack. I'm not sure that they had a free pack that you can download like 12 of them and test them out. So you can go to their website there and take a look at their Pixel Lab materials made just for Blender Octane. If you go in here to products, and then if you click on Octane, you're going to see all of the Blender Octane product packs, which are super nice. I use them all the time. You might be seeing me using in some of these videos here. So that's it for the free community. And then I jump over here to my paid community, which we a lot more members here. We have 128 members, some pretty advanced members who've been using Blender Octane professionally and for way longer than I have, so it's really cool. And of course we have a lot more assets there. We have the Blender Octane starter kit, and then we also have, again, these courses which are free, and some other stuff, the custom, like there's just so much stuff. We got add-ons in here that I made, custom 3-point items, member breakdowns of they break down how they did these renders in Octane, just way more. The ChatGPT for Octane here, dispensary, so you can get older versions of Blender. Well, anyways, enough of that jibber jabber. I think it is now time to get to work. So today what I'm going to be doing here is I posted yesterday the results from yesterday's stream. There it is right here. And as I was looking at it, there was just something I didn't like about it. I'm like, why does it look so CG? So I literally posted, hey, what's wrong with this image? Why does it look so CG? And this is what I ended up finishing after the live stream, is did a little bit of quick post on it, right? And I just couldn't figure it out. So again, the best way to get better at Blender Octane is also to get feedback from other members. So I reached out, and today's video is going to be about me implementing the feedback from the members and put them to work. Like, what's the point of getting feedback if you don't actually use the feedback, right? I get so many people who like ask for feedback and then they don't actually implement the feedback. So that means you learned nothing, right? So what I'm going to do is go through the comments here, and I'm going to take everybody's comment in consideration, and I'm going to try to figure out a way to implement what they told me into my render to making it even better. Okay, so this was supposed to be a thumbnail. It's actually just turned out to be a render more than an actual thumbnail. So but I'll probably use it for a thumbnail. So let's get back to work here. Here we go. So first thing, I'm going to read the comments, and And again, I'm not gonna get my feelings hurt because I asked for comics. So whenever you ask for feedback, don't get offended. Like take it with be able to take criticism of your art. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on this and I thought it was looking great, but you know what? I put it out there. I put it out there for people to criticize. So I'm not going to get mad or get defensive about what they said. I'm actually going to listen to what they said and look at it from their point of view. And already one thing that I don't like, it looks like these thumbtacks are weird. Like the bottom part is too big. Anyways, I'm getting okay. But anyways, let's get back to it. So first one coming in from Julian. Real sunlight through blinds usually has sharper contrast edge and a subtle color temperature shift. Warm highlights, cooler shadows. The paper and the cork texture look slightly too clean and uniform. Real paper has subtle fibers, warping, and uneven light due to surface blah 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 blah. The handwritten stickers look too clean, no ink bleed or texture from the pen and paper. That's what I noticed, but overall it looks really nice. Okay, thanks, I appreciate that. And I will say the shadow could be this. I will say I disagree with the shadows, and the reason why, because if it's sunny, if it's pure sunny clean day, yeah, it's gonna be sharper. But if there's a little bit of cloud cover, just slightly, it could be the weather could diffuse those shadows. Could be the time of day, the angle of the sun. But I get what he's saying. So I do also agree with the color. Like my shadows are just pure gray, but that's more of a color grading issue. That's like something that I don't want to burn into the original render. That'll be post, so I will take that into account. And that is typically something that I do notice when I do VFX shots, that they're not pure gray. They do have some type of color to them, some type of blue tint or red tint or something to them slightly. As for the post-it, yeah, that was one thing that I really struggled with. And I actually did photo scan and I rewrote it based on what he said. I rewrote it and made a new one and actually literally got a real post-it and wrote it on it. And I scanned it on my scanner last night. And I already put it in, so we're going to work on that, which I agree with that. And then, what else did he say? Yeah, well, basically the post-it and the writing. And that's true because this was a mask. I literally just wrote this text on my my iPad in Adobe Fresco and then just brought it in as a straight image. I could have blurred it a little bit before, a little Gaussian blur on it so it wasn't so clean, right? But to get that bleeding into paper is very hard to try to mimic in 3D. So I would just scan it. Literally just write with the marker on a piece of paper so you can get it naturally and then scan it. So that's what I did there. Let's get us, what's another comment? Jonah, as it's such a close-up, the grain is disturbing. The grain is disturbing as there is such strong depth of field, and on yellow paper you clearly see it. On yellow paper you clearly see it. It is something that looks CG to you, but I am not sure because I do like it. Okay. Yeah, I will agree with her on the grain. The grain is a little bit over. The grain is a little bit over. Again, that's using my Dehancer plugin, and that does typically push it too hard. And as far as the depth of field, that is basically, I'm using the real camera lens. I don't remember if I turned it up more, if it's that stock setting, but we may adjust that and to see depending on what my camera specs are. I try to keep my camera specs to real world as possible, so we'll see what's going on with the camera. We'll look at that. What else do we have? Is the board texture pattern too large? Ooh, I never thought about that. Maybe, huh? Yeah, that might be a possibility. And that's probably why I was kind of, it did bug me. Like I was looking here, it looked cartoonish to me. Like to me, this looks cartoony like. So I'm gonna look at some real world reference on that. We might need to resize that. The very narrow depth of field doesn't look photogenic, but not sure why. Maybe it's a combo of narrow depth of field and the pin board, the pin texture board. The pin board looks out of focus all over. Okay, so another depth of field one. Maybe this is the morning light. Try more white as who wants to be in the office during the dawn or dusk? Well, sometimes I'm here in the morning before as the sun comes up, bro. It's good waking up. That's what happens. You wake up super early when you got kids, when you gotta get ready for school. Yeah, you wake up early to get that extra bit of time in before they wake up. So I'm in my office sometimes before sunup because I want to get that extra hour of free work time. But I get you. All right, so color temperature. All right, a lot of these are absolutely fantastic. I did post this same post in the free community. Let's go in there and see what kind of advice we got back. Where is it at? Here we go. Same post. I think the field of view must be adjusted, as you could make the light a little lower, and there is lots of post processing that ruin the results. Uh, I don't understand what you mean. I think the field of view must be filled, like the angle. I guess maybe he's trying to say the angle of the camera. Also, you could make the light a little lower. Make the light a little lower. What do you mean by that? Make the light a little lower. I'm not sure. The light is already pretty much low. I don't understand too quickly. I understand that. And there's lots of post processing that ruin the results. Okay. All right. Post processing a little vague there on your reply. I more detail like or whatever. You saw some of the results that the comments that I was getting from the other members in the community. Now some of those members are actually pros. Like some of the renders they do are absolutely fantastic. Now you see that the comments that in the feedback they were giving me was way more detailed and oriented, like pinpointing exact things. That's the type of feedback that you get from people who are better than you. Like I'm not saying that he's not, I'm not nothing to knock against you, creative. I'm just saying you're seeing the difference in feedback from guys who've been using these programs for years and professionally. Like they're really giving me some really good feedback. Next one. I think you can use your face in the thumbnail because it increases personal branding. And yeah, I got that, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not. The whole YouTube face is over. Like I'm so sick of that. I don't even care. Like I don't even want people to click on it because of my that face. Like I'm over that. I get you though. Alex, I thought that came to me is that with the frame plan pane, we expect to see the roughness of the texture, paper, board, plastic, and pens. But in this picture, it seems that noise reduction has eaten up. Oh, that's actually a good point. As for the lighting, I agree with the comment above. The sticker on the top of the frame looks like it's over illuminated. All right, the sticker. I did a bump up the gain on that a little bit. Actually, that's good eyes. That's what I'm talking about, pinpointing things, right? And then the texture, what he said about the texture of the paper and this is the full denoise pass I'm using. That's another thing I forgot to mention. Like another technique that I had learned from another member where he takes the noisy version and the denoising and he actually blends it. He does a little mixture of them to maintain some of that detail. And that is possibly true that I am washing out all the detail from my paper, which I actually scanned it to post it and actually used that as my roughness map. Using the full denoise image is washing that out. Great feedback. Okay. All right, now it's time to go put that feedback to work. All right. So let's jump back. Again, guys, you can get free access to this community. Link should be posted somewhere in the comments there. I have it already pinned up there. And let me quickly check to make sure we are live. Am I just talking to myself by myself, which I've done several times before, which is not a big thing, but let's just quickly see. Uh-oh. We're not live? Yes, we are live. Okay, good. Let's make sure the text is working. Yep, text is working. Nice. All right, cool. All right, and I need some tissue because my nose is freaking runny. Did my run this morning and didn't have my mask on, and there's lots of special seasonal grass that's growing. And where I run, it's complete nature along Riverside, and it just every time I forget my mask, I just get killed. All right, boom. Let's jump in the blender and get to work. We got 38 minutes. Let's load up the render. Post a thumbnail. All right, so the first thing I'm going to tackle is this post-it and the texture. Because I changed it out last night. I quickly threw this post-it on the scanner here and just scanned it. I'm going to figure, hey, what's the best way to mimic... Is this thing running? Yeah. What's the best way to mimic it? By just scanning it, right? So you can see I did switch it out yesterday. There it is. There is the full switch version, but even then we're still... And I know why, because I did, again, my noise is, let's go like 0.5 on that denoiser here. This is the scan version, and this is the non-scan version. This was the fully procedural one, and this is the scan version. And I probably want to tweak I want to tweak with this a little bit here and try to get this. All right, let's see. Now we can clearly see now we got some better. And then I actually, on the original one, I added these imperfections here, like these little white specks, but they're just not really showing up again because I think the noise, and see all of this was all my pre-built one that I made. Look, I added in the scanned image into the roughness. If we go ahead and preview that, look at all that. I did all that already prior, but like he said, and then I even made a normal map off of that same image. Like I took this image, and there's a free website that allows you to make normal maps. So what I did was, for example, let me quickly show you guys. I went on to here and I went normal, and in our community here, like check it out right here, normal map maker. I went to this website and I literally just uploaded my black and white image, and it makes it into a normal map, and then boom, you can prep. So I did that. I made a normal, and there's our normal. All right, and it looks like I probably could. I'm just actually just turn that back all the way up to full, and I think I'm going to double my bump value times 2. And let's see what this is looking like. Let's jump back. And let's go ahead and address this depth of field issue. Like maybe I did tweak it. I don't remember. Let me click on here, rear camera lens. I'm using a realistic camera 28, 2.8. Yeah, my f-stop's at 3, so that's not, I didn't tweak it. Actually, I added some because it's 2.8, and I actually added it up to 3. So let's just double that. Let's go times 2. Let's go to 6. Okay. Then let's also take a look at my focal point, which limits, and see where that is pointing. Hold down shift. Interesting, I can't even see it. Where's it at? Click on my camera. Oh, there it is. Click right on our notepad, and there's my camera focal point, which is right up on it. I want that to be in focus. Okay. Let's see. What else could we do to this? Maybe change this from white to black. Not full black, but something like that. Maybe see those specks a little bit more. And let me also maybe, let's see what this is looking like. Maybe we can open this up a little bit. So we can see more. No, I'm not really seeing more in that. Let's go to the roughness. Maybe even adding some more contrast in this. Like that, maybe. Let's see. See what that looks like. What I ultimately need to do is render it. Okay, before we do that. All right, so what else did this? We said depth of field was too much. Too much depth of field, so I cut that in half. Let me go back to the comments. Oh, the matte, the background. Hang on. Let's look at some reference on that cork board really quick. Cork board, pin board. Let's just go to Amazon. Oh, that's a good picture right there. Dang it. Not that. Not that. Yeah, that does look a little bit smaller, huh? It's not a really good picture either. I think the pattern does look smaller. Let me. I saw a good picture back here. Where was it? Yeah, this one right here. I want to see this picture. Oh yeah, that pattern is way more smaller. Oh, this is a great shot. This is a great shot. This is a great shot. Thank you. I wish they would have minus some of that depth of field too, but okay. Yeah, that pattern is way smaller than what I have. And I think the reason why I had did that was because the pattern started repeating. All right, let's go back to my board. Cork board. Yeah, I'm running it through a chaos node to try to mix up that pattern already. So let's see, can we divide this by half? Oh, that feels much better. Okay, maybe even, can we go 0.15? Let me go back to the reference. 1.5 might, I think the 1.5. Oh, that's a good idea. I should have had something hanging from mine too. That would have been a good idea. Like, I like this, how they got the scissors hanging from there. Oh, and that's even cool. They got the screws. That's a good idea. Okay, let's go back. Actually, I think that's okay. I do feel like depth of field now that's bugging me. It does seem a little high. Actually, I did change something here. Yeah, let's change this back to 1. I did change it to 2, so we had like a little anamorphic stretch on it. Bokeh Blades, I'm going to leave it where it's default. I'm just going to add, let's go 8.8 on that. Okay. That feels a little bit better. Next, they also said that this sticker felt a little bit boosted. And it should be because I did boost that sticker. I did boost the gamma on the sticker because it looked a little flat. Yeah, see, I made a gamma adjustment to that. Let's just actually bypass and put it back to where it was at. Okay. Now, the color on this one is so saturated. So, because I'm actually using the image now instead of a, hang on, something's not right with that. Because actually, this should have been a black and white mask. If I go back to the original, see, this should actually be black and white, not the color. Okay, so how could I do this? All right, I'm just gonna disconnect the whole setup that I have here, the switch setup for this, and just plug it straight in. Because I'm using this whole masking system. Oh man, but that's gonna disconnect everything. Okay, how could we do this? What's the easiest way? Let's go full screen so I can see everything. I think the easiest way to do this is just go straight into input, disconnect that. We'll just bypass this whole system for the thumbnail here. And now, all right, it's inverted, so I should probably uninvert it. There we go. Now we're back to normal. And I'm still not seeing. Oh, that's another thing. The edge on the mask for the light. Let's do. I'm gonna take his advice and make it sharper. So what light was that? That was this light here. Although I really disagree a little bit on this one, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna come in here and go divide by half. Divide by half. It's not a really sunny day today, so I can't really tick. That's turned all the way off. That's all the way down. That's as sharp as it's going to be. All right, and then we had another suggestion about the color of the light. I did go 4500 warm. Let's just go 5600 daylight. I don't really like the daylight 5600. It doesn't really, to me, it looks like kind of just blah. But we'll leave it. We'll give it a shot. What else is missing? We talked about color grading between this. I will do that in post. Grain, we'll do that in post. Thumbtacks are a little bit bugging me. Like, they just feel big for some reason to me. They feel like abnormally big. But nobody said anything about the thumbtacks. All right, nobody made any comments about the thumbtacks, so I might just leave that where that's at. And for some reason, this aspect ratio does not feel right for me. Even though I did 1280 by, I'm just going to do my normal 1920 by 1080. The other one was 1280 by 720 was what YouTube recommends for YouTube thumbnail size. But to me, this still just doesn't feel like, well, I don't know why it feels like it's at a different aspect ratio. Because it is. These aspect ratio XY were off for some reason. Okay, so now if I go back to my YouTube, I think I did save that YouTube one. YouTube thumbnail. Yeah, 1280 by 720. Oh, nope. See, 1280 by 720. Aspect ratio is off because I saved it with the aspect ratio. That's why. All right, so let me quickly fix that. Let me come back here. Thumbnail. Turn that off. New preset. YouTube thumbnail. Add that in. All right. Now let's see what. Let's quickly save. And let's go ahead and fire this off. And while that's rendering, let's go back and see, did I miss any other suggestions? What other suggestions did we see? So yeah, that's color grading, and the cork board does feel slightly clean and uniform. But I don't know how you make a cork board dirty. I've never seen a dirty cork board though, unfortunately. Clean and uniform. So uniform I can understand, but clean I don't understand. What does a dirty cork board look like? Real papers, fibers. Okay, we got that. The hand ink. Okay. Depth of field. Yep, we just adjusted that, and then I also we'll back off the grain when we do color grading. Pattern board, we did that. Depth of field, we did that. Narrow depth of field, the pin board feels out of focus. Okay, we did that. Morning light color, we changed it to a warmer color, which I'm not really liking, but we did that. And then from the other community, what else did we do? Moving the light a little bit lower. I don't understand what you mean, so I'm not worried about that one. I think I can use facing the thumbnail. We're not going to do that one. And well, we might do that. I can make another version because YouTube allows me to put 3 different thumbnails. So I will do one thumbnail with the face. And then roughness and paper. Okay, same one again. Noise reduction. Yeah, I will reduce the noise reduction. Actually, I'm just gonna mix the that's a thing we'll do post. And above the illumination of that. Okay, I did bring that down. All right, so that's pretty much everybody's suggestions that I actually implemented into this render. So now I think let's see what the render looks like. Let's see what the render looks like. Yeah, that color, that just brightens everything up. I don't like it. I really don't. Okay, but it's texture. Ooh, actually, we can see a little bit more of the texture now. Look at this. I can see a little bit more of the texture in the paper. So that worked out really nice. But this guy here, shows nothing. This guy's okay because he's out of depth of field anyways. But, and then we're getting a repeat down here, so I need to change that. All right, this guy is the same here. I need to just change this and to a different post-it. We'll go to post-it L2. And let me turn that back on as long as it's anything other than this post-it. And it's got the H from watch it. Okay, but that's no problem. We can change that too. Let's actually let me do this too. While we're at it, we can add the lines to the paper. There we go. That really changes it up. Oh, and it's doing it to this one too. Let's take that back. Take this guy back, and I want to turn the lines back off on this one. No lines. All right, this guy down here, we want the lines on here, and then we'll turn the color paper to a different color. Didn't we do the green? I thought I did the green. There it is. Okay, there's the green. I can see that the O from who are you and who are you, this one changed. So we got to change this one back to the arrow. Watch this. And while we're here on the watch of this, let's crank up that roughness so we can see more of that texture. And also let's go here and double that. See what that looks like. Okay. I can see the difference between that scan version and a non-scan version is hugely different. Hugely different. You know what I could do? Actually, that's fine. We'll just do it for now. So we're running out of time. I need to go back and do post still. Let's go ahead and save that. Oh, you know what else I wanted to do really fast? I wanted to add some atmosphere, some dust particles to the room. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my asset browser, and this dust box is available in the community for members in our it's going to be available in the V7 version, which I'm actually working on right now, getting the V7 version updated with new assets. Where am I? I'm thinking and talking. Dude, how many times did I save this and it's not saving my... It's not saving my asset every time I add this in here. What the heck's going on with that? File path, new. Do this off screen. File path, new. My stuff. Save it. Why is it not saving? Save my stuff. My stuff. Okay, dust box. Here we go. So, hang on. Hi, I'm Pio, and I am a CG artist, animation artist, and I have been coding for 6 years plus 3 years animation. I can't see the rest of your comment. Hang on. Let me see. For animation, and I have been coding for 6+ years, animation for 3 years. Yo, welcome up. Welcome, dude. That's cool, man. Coding for what? What do you mean by coding for animation for 6 years? What do you mean by coding? How are you coding animation? You mean doing animation, or like are you coding like writing add-ons or something? All right, here's the dust box, guys. We're gonna just scale it down just a little bit. Here's the dust box. I'll put it in the room. Apply the scale. And what the dust box does is just adding little particles in, right? Hang on, make sure it's actually, we're seeing it in the shot. GY back. Yeah, make sure the camera's all there. Okay. And there we go. We got little particles just kind of like floating in the air. Some of them may show up, some of them may not show up, but it just kind of add like a little bit of atmosphere. Hang on. And then let me go to the dust box. Particles times 2. And then size, I think my size was a little bit too big. I always bring down the size. Render, size, scale, divide by half. And then C, let me just bump up the C to get something. Maybe we can get a couple in the shot here. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. And I think it's time to go do post. PIXO. I forgot I had this program. I could have just switched to this screen to read the comment, right? That's cool. I've got this. I made my own stream. I made my own stream deck, guys, using my old Android phone, which is super cool. Like I've got all of these baked in, all of these on my old Android phone, and like all kinds of different stuff. I got a stream deck for Blender, so all these key shortcuts. It's super cool. It's super cool. I have a video about it. I don't know if I posted that video on YouTube. I think I just posted in the community. Let's see. We're not seeing any of the particles flying around. Am I? No, I'm not. Yeah, that does look a little bit still hot over here. This still looks a little bit hot. Well, it's because the sun's hitting it. Let me make sure that the roughness is right on that sticker. Actually, no, the roughness is not right on this guy here. Yeah, I still forgot to change the roughness. And that was on the poster back there. This guy here, it's a diffuse material, so yeah. And I disconnected that, so I don't know why that still feels a little bit hot. 2.2, right? Yep. Opacity, because that's an alpha cutout. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It just looks like that because the sun is hitting it, I guess. Yeah. That's another thing. I have this Photoshop add-on that allows me to make a sticker and I like make it adds all that texture. I think I need to start using that more just to get the texture that it adds to things. Like the texture really comes out, like it really cuts through here. Even well, this marker I actually, how did I make this? I think I made this on the iPad, if I can remember. Yeah, I think I used an iPad marker or something like that in there. All right, so dust box. Let me turn that up a little bit more. Times 3. And I think it's just we're not seeing the particles because of how bright the world is. Because here's the actual particle, which is just basically a diffuse material. Let me actually try doing the mix version, where I mix in a diffuse and I mix in a emission shader. See if we notice it that way. No, don't really notice it. Just gonna leave it back to the diffuse material, which has a very low opacity too. Okay, let's move on because I still need to record the intro for this video too. So, alrighty, render, do the post. I would have liked to have something hanging, but I don't have time for that. Like, I will keep just spending all day on this render. And we already have, what, like 10 more minutes, so we're going to jump into post after this. All right, that's done, finished cooking. Let's go save copy. YouTube cover. 2. It's going to save it as a PNG. 16-bit. Save. Oh, hang on. That was, we were probably looking at the denoise version. Was that the denoise version? Hang on, denoise version. Let me save this just to make sure again. Let's go save copy, denoise version. 2. Denoise. PNG. 16-bit. And then just beauty. Yeah, just beauty because we got a little bit of noise there. Yeah, okay, let's save this one. Save copy. We'll go to noise version. ENG 16-bit. Save. All right, save that. Jump back over here, close that. Jump into Photoshop. There was my Photoshop file there. Look at that. I just kind of cranked that. Look at that. All that goodness texture we got there. All right, let's go ahead. What the heck is this? Huh, update of Photoshop. Anyways, file, open. We want, let's open noise version. What the heck is going on with that, dude? Some interactive junk. Hit OK. And file open to denoise. And I'm gonna drag this 2D noise onto the noise. Hold down shift, release it. See if we can see the difference. Oh yeah, I can definitely see the difference. Check it out. Look right here. Denoised, noised. Yeah, so I was losing a lot of detail. Which is about right. You should be, because we're using. So how we're gonna do this? I can't remember how he did it. I think he just threw it over as normal. Just leave it normal and just tweak the opacity, right? I think. Hang on, I can't remember how Martin did that. Let me quickly jump back. And classroom. Scene breakdown. Post.
But you can see here, let me hide all this stuff. So this is the original render. You can see I have the noise beauty at the bottom, and then I put the noisy beauty on top, and I give it a, I reduce the opacity, and I do this because it just gives a little bit of that texture to the denoised pass. You can mask this, and if you want, you can hide some of the very noisy areas of the noisy render, and just keep some of the noise where it's not very visible, but it still adds a little bit of texture to the denoised path.
Okay, he just overlays it. Good. He just puts it on there on top. This guy does amazing work, guys. Like, I'm so grateful that he recorded this video from. Like, I learned so much, and like I'm going back to it again just because, like, again, learning from people who are better than you makes you get better quicker. All right, so let's just kind of put it on here, and let's just kind of like, I'm gonna go full. And hang on, I actually need to label these first so I can figure out what's what. This is denoised. And then this is, why does it not let me doing that? Noise image. All right, so I'm actually gonna do exactly how he did it. I'm gonna have the denoise on the bottom and the noise on top. Yep, okay, there we go. And then I'm just gonna go to opacity and just kind of bring it down a little bit. 60%. Yep, I like it. Boom, done. All right, so hopefully we can get a little bit of that back in there. Actually, now looking at it from this distance, I might even go more, like 70, 80%. Yeah, I can see it there now. Okay, cool. Now, what I'm going to do here, how should I do this? Next, we're going to add in, actually, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab both of these and press Control, Shift, Alt, E. That makes a copy of what I just did. So it basically took a snapshot of those. Now I'm going to take this guy, and then we're going to go into my compositing. And Dehancer took it a little bit too hard, took it over the top a little bit. Let's do camera raw for now. And okay, I like a little bit more contrast, so I'm actually going to crush my blacks a little bit. I go hard and then I pull it off. Something like that. My whites, I kind of like this little bit of blown out look here a little bit because the sun is hot. Shadows, a little bit. Highlights, pull off just a little bit off of that highlight. Exposure. I'm just trying to pull back some of this dynamic range and get a good dynamic range going in here. All right, then what I want to do is try to get some blues into the shadows. And this is typically where I normally like to do my color grading in DaVinci because it's so much easier, color grading. But here you get some tools here, right? So shadows, I want to put a little bit of blue in the shadows. I like to go hard so you can see what you're doing and then just kind of back it off. Like that, right? And then in my highlights, let's add a little bit of warmth in the highlights. Because I'm like that. And then let's just back it off. Classic, you know, Hollywood teal and orange look, basic. Midtones. And then also backing that way off. Just slight, ever so slightly. Okay. And then the blending here, the balance, the blending of that. Like, do you want to lean more towards one side or not? Kind of lean as far as the bleeding and then the balance. Kind of like something like that. All right, then I like a little bit of sharpening so we can bring back that detail that we lost. I typically take this to 100, then I hold down Alt and go to masking so I can mask what I want to be sharpened. Like, this is everything. I don't want everything to be sharpened. I really want to focus in on that, like the cork board a little bit. Maybe we do. Now, see, I think the sharpening really messes up the cork board. I really do believe it messes it up a little bit. And now I'm looking at that. I think I really want to make that cork board even smaller again. No sharpening with sharpening. That sharpening really does bring in the details on the paper. Like, I can really see it. But that particle board, the cork board, I might want to go smaller. Let's see what we got here so far. Saving that. I should have did a smart object. Let me turn those back on. I think I went too hard on the teal. And this, I should have did a smart object because I could reverse that. I can go back in here and adjust it, and I didn't do that. So that's my fault. So unfortunately, I'm just going to delete what I just did. Control Alt Shift E. Do it again. Right click, convert it to a smart object. And let me go back in here because I had the teal. I think I went too much on the teal. Go back into our, where was I? Pixel Raw. Again, you can use Adobe Lightroom, the free version, the app, if you guys don't have that, to do the same thing what I'm kind of doing. There's our time. Our time is up. But hang on, let's finish this out. Let me quickly see what also Auto does. Actually, Auto gets us in a good start. I like Auto. It did kind of what I did already. It did crush my blacks a little bit. It brought up shadows. It brought up the highlights. I mean, it brought up the whites and it brought down the highlights a little bit. I actually brought it down too light. I liked it a little bit blown out. And it added to the contrast. It did exactly what I basically almost kind of did. It brought up the vibrance a little bit, which I don't want to do. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. But it won't do color grading. So I'm going to go back into the color grade. And then the shadows, again, this adds more shadows, right? And again, we want to add a little bit of blue. I'm going to go more blue. This is the color, right? You can just grab this, right? And then this is the mount. Okay, that does feel a little bit better. And then the highlights. Actually, let's maybe go more the midtones. Very subtle. And I'm gonna go more yellow in the highlights. This marker is looking too black for me, but oh well. Now I'm gonna come back here to my sharpening. Yeah, that post-it feels so much better now. That was such a great tip. See, if I do noise reduction, it just washes away all that detail. Let's add just ever so slightly a little bit in there, like very little bit. Okay, I like that. Hit OK. Now let's see where we're at. Okay, that's feeling a little bit better. I'm liking the way this is feeling now. And see what doing that smart object, I have control of these, right? Individually. Like I can control here and I can easily jump back in here and easily continue. Like I can bring down the overall look, just pull it all off or go hard, you know. So I could even like just reduce that a little bit if we wanted to. I like the way that feels. Now, dehancer. Should we do it? It took it over the top last time, I think. That was where the over compressed did. Hang on, let me go back to dehancer. I really like dehancer's grain, but I think it was just being overly used. So, um, yeah, see, this is just way too much using the preset looks. So let me come in here. I think I have my own presets where I did just grain. Yeah, see, but still, that's what's that doing? It still's doing something else. It's softening the image. Make sure everything is turned off. See, it still did something to the image. What did it do to the image? Uh, let's go back. There's the original. Okay, there's original. Just add grain is still doing something to it. So let's go to original. And let me come in here to film grain. Oh, see, film grain it does something to it big time. Just jump in here. Let's go to custom. And what is this? Color. Actually, I'm going to grab and pull everything down. Highlights, shadows, resolution, amount, and size. All right, so let's bring in the size. Actually, just reset everything. I think what it is the shadow midtones. Well, this means how much of the film grain do we want to see in the shadows? Like you can see right here, I can see a lot of grain in the shadows, because typically we would see grain in the shadows. So, like, I would probably want to see more green. I'm just gonna bring everything down. Midtone. Bring this way down. Highlights. Would we see a lot of green in highlights? When in doubt, look at reference. Grain on film. Grain on photographs. Grain on photos. Images. Grain on film photos. Let's say on film. photos. Film on 35 mil, let's say 35 millimeter film photos. Grainy film. No, I want to see real film. I don't want to see somebody's pictures who did it in Photoshop. Why are my photos so grainy? Here we're seeing a lot of grain in the shadows. Seeing some grain in the mid. I don't know if this is a digital camera or not. Whatever. Okay. I'm over it. When in doubt, just don't use it. Right? I'm just going to bring it so it's really, really subtle. Really, really subtle. Bring everything down so it's smaller. The amount, we'll bring the amount down way low. Preview. Like, I can see it, it's very subtle. See, there's too much. All right, we'll leave it there. All right, so I added some grain in there, but it's very light. All right, I think that's it. I'm gonna leave it as that. I'm done. So let me export this. I did JPEG high quality, same one. All right, and we're gonna call this cover 2 post comments. Whatever it is, how you spell comments there. Okay. Cover 2 post comments. Versus yesterday's version that I did, which was this one. Okay. Yeah. Clearly, look at the difference here. And then look at the difference here. Look at the cork board. I still feel I can go smaller in the cork board. How about the post-it? Definitely we can see the detail on the post-it. Here, yeah. Look, we got some little bit of artifacting here, which just came out nice. Honestly, to me, I just don't like the thumbtacks. Something odd about the thumbtacks to me next. But anyways, I'm done. I'm done. Alrighty, guys. That's going to be a wrap for today. I'm going to go ahead and do my intro for this video and get this video posted, and you will see this thumbnail in action. And I'll do another thumbnail with my head somewhere in it, a headshot. We can do a second version. Paper got cut off here a little bit. But anyways, you shouldn't be looking at that. You should be focused right here. Okay. All right, I'm out, guys. Thanks for joining. Peace.